Hey everybody, Mr. Traveler here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a story for you that is really kind of heart-wrenching at the end of the day about a family that was denied boarding on board a Royal Caribbean cruise. Let's talk about it right after this. All right, welcome back. And friends, if you would be so kind, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know when we upload videos or go live. We thank you so much for all the love and support. All right, friends, so let's talk a little bit about this. And this is not the traveler's fault, but I want to say this is a good time to talk about bringing documentation with you to the port. You can never have enough documentation, especially if you're traveling with other people's children, or you've had name changes or anything that's out of the ordinary. It's always best. I'd rather have more documentation than to not have enough. So it's always a good idea to make sure that you bring enough documentation with you to show how you arrived at the name that you're traveling with. Again, this is not this family's fault, but we're going to dig in and talk a little bit about it. So this family from North Carolina was denied boarding on board Royal Caribbean. As a mother with 4 children, and she also brought a babysitter with her to help with taking care of the children on board the vacation. So the mother is a teacher, and she really worked hard and scrimped and saved up for a couple of years to take her family on board this Royal Caribbean vacation. And they got to they were driving to the port. They were taking videos with the family and everything. And the kids are just so excited to be on board this trip, as you can just imagine. Pulling out, the excitement that you have when you pull up at the port and you see that beautiful ship. So anyway, one of the children that was traveling with her is a special needs child. And so they hadn't been able to get the child a state-issued ID yet. What he did have was a school ID, and it's important to note that the rest of the children did have everything that they needed, including their birth certificates with the original seals and whatever ID that they needed to bring with them. They all had the proper ID. It was just the one child that had the school ID that was trying to travel. So not only the guest, but also they have a travel agent, had called Royal Caribbean and double checked before they went down to the port to ensure that the school ID was going to be proper, or be enough documentation for them to board the ship with this child. And they were assured that it would be. So they get to the port, and the worker at the check-in desk denied them entry. And even calling a supervisor there at the port, the supervisor agreed with the worker and continued the denial of the boarding because they said it was not proper documentation to board the ship. So at this point, as you can imagine, they were very upset. They were calling the travel agent, calling Royal Caribbean, trying to get this thing situated. And by the time they finally got a hold of somebody at Royal Caribbean, it was too late. The ship had already sailed off from the port. Now, Royal Caribbean did admit that this was their fault for not allowing the boarding, and have went so far as to make some new training for agents around situations like this. But now let's talk about how it was handled, and this is where I need your guys' feedback and how you would handle it. How would you expect it to be handled? So let's talk about what happened. So that day when Royal Caribbean admitted that they made a mistake, they offered the family to catch up with the ship in Cozumel after a day at sea, but on their dime. They would have to fly to Cozumel with 6 people on their dime. Naturally, that was not a good solution for the family. Who can afford a last-minute trip for 6 people to fly to Cozumel? So the family decided to just stay in Florida for a few days just to try to make the best of of a vacation while they had the time off and while they were in Florida. And then they got with Royal Caribbean, who offered them 3 different options to try to make up for the error from their agent. And I'm not very pleased with it, but I would like to hear what you had to say and what you think a good solution would be. So option number 1 was 100% future cruise credit. So where everything that they paid for that trip would be a future cruise credit and $700 onboard credit. Option number 2 is a full refund. And option number 3, and this is the option that they will give to them if they didn't take any of the other 2, was a full refund plus a 25% discount on a future cruise. So, yeah. So what do you think? Here's my 2 cents on it. This family obviously spent, I think they drove down from North Carolina, but even in that, they have to, get the vehicle, gas it up, do the maintenance, everything to it. Whatever they have to do to make their travel arrangements from North Carolina down to Florida, that cost them money. Then when they couldn't get on board the ship, they were offered to fly to Cozumel on their own, which would have been a lot of money. But they ended up staying in Florida, spending some money. Florida's not cheap if they went to the theme parks or whatever. So, they spent some good money there, and especially with a last-minute hotel reservation. And you have to consider that these people have to, if they do take them up on a future cruise credit, they're going to have to spend their time and money to travel back down here to Florida once again. So, personally, I think what a good solution to this would be, because let's be very honest, they could potentially take the cruise line to court and sue them for some of this money, I would think, because this is 100% on Royal Caribbean, the employee not knowing the policy for the identification to get on board the ship. So this is 100% on them, and they've acknowledged that. So you got to think, if they took them to court, what would they get in court? I think what a good solution would be for this family is for them to give a full refund for their family and give them a free cruise of equal standing, similar to whatever they booked. So if they booked ocean views, give them an ocean views again. If they booked a balcony, give them a balcony. Whatever they booked, it should be equal to what they had on their original trip. So I think they should get the full refund, and I think Royal Caribbean should offer them a free trip on another cruise, and I think they should give them some onboard credit as well for their trouble. I think that's a more realistic offer that Royal Caribbean should do. This is totally unacceptable in my eyes, and for them not to be able to get that rectified. And I know it's on the weekend, especially if it was on a Sunday. Boarding is going to be difficult to get the people at Royal Caribbean headquarters that might be able to make a decision, and maybe that's why they couldn't get on board the ship. But it's absolutely ridiculous to me that they couldn't get a hold of anybody at Royal Caribbean so they could get on that ship that didn't know the policy when it comes to using that student ID, especially when they have called and asked that question. And usually when you call and do things like that, that information, they put notes in your booking so that other agents can look and see, oh, they've called about this issue, and here's what we've told them. To me, Royal Caribbean is left holding the bag on this 100%, man. And I think that their offer for this family is just, I think it's terrible. I think it's really a slap in the face, everything that this family went through. Not only the financial loss, but the emotional effect on the kids and everything. I mean, what a huge, I would be devastated if a ship pulled off on me. Can you imagine a child, and then you have a special needs child too, who may not be able to process that as well? It's just not a good look for Royal Caribbean. Again, I think they should give them a free cruise, refund them for the one that they had and give them some onboard credit. They should really go the extra mile to take care of this family. And I think that would be good press for them too, if they did that, you know. But comment below, let us know what you think about it. Strange situation. All right, everybody, if we can help you book that dream vacation, make sure you give us a call, 877-697-4470. Or you can book right online, www.mr-traveler.com. We thank you so much. And remember, life's short. Have fun. Get out there and see the world, guys. Bye, everybody.